Alright guys, we've got a little job to do today, and it's a job for my neighbour, Mike next door. And now Mike's been mowing my lawns during my convalescence, I guess you'd call it, during my post-op period from this procedure I had, this operation I had. So I haven't been able to go out and push the lawnmower at all because of the issues around the abdomen. So Mike's been doing my lawns, and I'll tell you what, they haven't looked so... They haven't looked this good since we've moved in. He's done a magnificent job with them. But this blade deck, I guess we call it a blade deck or mounting plate, blade mounting plate, has had a section shear out of it, which is the section that actually fastens up onto the drive shaft. And it's actually driven off these two dogs that actually come through on a drive plate. So the plan is that I'm going to clean out that hole, minimum clean out. I'll just bore that out as best as I can. Then I'm going to make up a step washer that will go register inside that and extend outside. And then we can just pop a hole through that and then re-bolt it up again. So basically what it's going to be is a washer on a washer. So fairly simple. So down to the bandsaw, I've just cut up a spacer block that I can put underneath this this plate that we can drill through into, and I'm planning on where these dogs fit in is we'll pop some holes through our timber chock, and we can put some mounting studs, clamping studs down through that, and we'll just clamp it down onto the table directly. So I'll go ahead and get that mounted up, and then we'll go through how we're going to get everything zeroed up and squared up. Righto, so I've just bunged a couple of 18mm holes through that space we're going to use, and that's going to line up with the drive dog holes, and we'll get it bolted up. Righto, we'll just take our sheared off piece and we'll sit that in there, and we'll come down with a drill. It's about a 10.5mm hole. We'll come down with our drill and we'll get things sanded up that way so we can get organised for our boring. Righto, I'm fairly happy with where that's sitting now. Right, what I'll do is I'll set up the boring head and we'll just see how we go with this with an intermittent cut. If worst comes to worst, I can get a bimetal hole saw and we can drill down that way. But we'll see how we go just with the boring bar through there first and see if it's able to take it out. Right, let's see how we go. Fingers crossed. I'll feed this down with a hand wheel, I think. Alright, I reckon that'll do us. We'll jump on the lathe and we'll machine up a step washer for this. Right guys, got a bit of stock here we're going to make up this washer with, this step washer. So we're going to knock it down to about 50mm in diameter, or about 60mm at the moment. The step we're going to put into it, the material measures up at around about 2.7mm thick. That's the blade plate. And I want to make this step about 2.2. I don't want this bottoming out when we do the nut up. So it's it's going to be pressing on the actual plate itself, not on this washer, because that would just mean the plate would become loose. So we need to make sure that this washer is applying the pressure down onto the plate, not onto the fixing. Well, we'll just swing this tool around so we've got the sharp one, because I want to not have an edge on this. So this one's a 0.4mm radius. Right, so the plate's actually 2.4, so we're going to make this around about 2mm thick. So as I said, we don't bottom out on the ridge. Right, running for 33.45 here. That's 33.7. Well, it almost wants to go. I reckon we might leave it at that and make that a little bit of a press fit inside that. It's only about 0.02 of a mil difference, so it'll press fit in there okay. Alright, we'll part this off, and then I might set it up in the grinder and just give the outside face a lick once we've parted it off. Right, before we part it off, we'll put the drill through first. So the bolt that goes on there is a 3/8 very fine thread, so it's a UNF. So we'll go a tad over 10mm on the clearance hole. Good. Alright, let's see how we go. Me and parting off haven't had a very good friendship over the years. Just locked the saddle in place. Let's see how we go. Well, that worked out a lot easier than I thought. I'm just wondering whether the rebuild of the cross slide has added a bit more rigidity into that. But yeah, that cut like a dream. I can always remember my father on his old Myford when he was building Evening Star back in the late 60s, and he had a rear parting off tool mounted on the back of the cross slide. And I can remember him always drawing breath when he was about to start parting off, because 9 times out of 10 it would smash, and yeah, there'd be stuff flying everywhere. Yeah, it wasn't his favourite pastime. It's certainly not mine either. All right, I'll get that tied up. We'll get that on the grinder, and we'll give that add a face, a bit of a lick and tidy up. No, we're not going to surface grinder. We're just going to try something a little bit different. John Mills off Double Boost. You might have seen him if you watch my little channel over in the UK. I saw this idea from him, and it's used for getting the faces squared up on thin discs. So rather than setting it up over on the surface grinder, we might just see how we go getting this squared up. I've done this a couple of times and it works out quite well. And if you've ever watched John, he calls himself a motor mechanic that just piss farts around, but I tell you what, he does some pretty cool stuff. All right, this is one of them. Let's see how we go. I'll tell you what, that looks pretty spot on. Right, we'll give that a nip up now. We'll put a tool in and we'll see how that faces off. Alright, we'll just rotate that tool back to the 0.8 mil. Let's see what this lathe tool I've got here is the absolute bee's knees. I can use it for facing. You can use it for doing short counter bores, obviously turning. I've actually used it for setting up for doing deep threads and actually doing the pre-cutting on the 60-degree threads. So it's obviously can also do left-hand turning as well. So, and it's great having the two different diameter tips ready to go, or different radius tips I should say. Spot on. All right, we'll get this all fitted up into the into that blade plate, and we'll see how we go. Oops. Might be okay. I was half thinking of making up a new washer here with a step in it, so that when it does push down, it's actually pushing down right on where the registered diameter is. So it's not going to try and bend that plate or oil can that this disc into place, because as I said, I don't want that face touching on the mounting surface. So we'll get this together and we'll see how things look. Alright, we'll set this up in the arbor press. So that's our disc all machined up. I used the Loctite primer before I used the actual Loctite on the part. So this is a bit of 680. So we'll get that into place. Okay, well that's into place now. So I'll keep a little bit of weight on this handle, and we'll get everything tidied up and we'll see where we're looking. Alright, so that's it pressed in. You might have noticed I did press it in the wrong way before, so I've turned it round. Alright, so I'll go and mount that, and we'll see how it all looks. Righto, well that's everything back together, and that fitted up beautifully. So these drive dogs here have actually rounded off, so I'm just going to get into them with a punch and just try and cork them back a little bit, just to get them straightened up a little bit. These must also be off center, because when I was boring this out, the hole was off center to where the edge to edge was, but it's a perfect fit up there, so I'm very happy about that. So I'm sure I'll have a happy neighbour with his motor mower back together. Alright guys, we'll leave it there. We'll catch up with you soon. Alright, that was a that was a quick little project to do for my neighbour Mike from next door. Mike's been coming in, it seems like every second day, to mow my lawns. And Mike, the lawn has never looked so good. You can keep doing it for as long as you like, mate. But no, I do need to get back in and start doing my own lawns and gardening. And I lent my mower to one of my older sons 2 months ago. So Matthew, I need my mower back. I need to get in and start doing the lawns myself, especially out the back here, mate. And look, while I've been recovering post-surgery, the neighbourhood has been fantastic. As I said, Mike's been coming in, looking after our garden and our lawns out the front. We've had Mike and Christina on the other side, chopping wood, organising wood for the pot belly, and bringing food in. And neighbours just popping in to make sure you're all right. If there's anything we can do. So absolutely blessed to live in the neighbourhood that we live in. So thank you to everyone. I'm well on the mend now, but long road to go yet with constant testing. I've got my first results from my post-op coming tomorrow, so fingers crossed that there's no detectables there. We'll wait and see, but I'll give you a feedback on see how we're going there. Alright, so that's that little project out of the way. I've got a few more projects that I want to do. I think we might do an eeny, meeny, miny, mo, or toss a coin and we'll pick one, and we'll get started on that. So we'll be back very soon, and we'll get some more videos on the go. Alright guys, we'll catch you soon.